Revenge films.
My name is Miles. I'm a 24-year-old employee who works at a food company owned by my dad. I have a fiancée called Fiona, and we were about to get married. Fiona works as the receptionist at one of our clients' companies, and I met her when I visited the company for a meeting with a client. She was shy and quiet, so it took us some time to start dating. When I met Fiona, I was still scared of women, traumatized by my ex dumping me. But I was able to overcome it thanks to her kindness, so I'm really thankful. My ex, Haley, went to the same university as me, and we dated for a year from when I was 20 to 21 years old. Haley was clumsy and cute, and she had a bright personality that allowed her to make friends with someone she had just met. Haley was hitting on me, and we started dating. It was my first time dating someone, so I devoted myself to her. I bought her anything she wanted for her birthday and for Christmas, and I always took her to places she wanted to go on our dates. Haley would be so happy every time, and she would thank me with a wide smile. I wanted to see her smile, so I kept pushing myself too hard to make her dreams come true. But our breakup happened abruptly. I used to live with my parents, and Haley said she wanted to see my house, so I took her to my parents' house. We just had our 1-year anniversary, so we were starting to think about our future seriously. So I didn't feel anything against taking her to my house, but she suddenly changed her attitude once we arrived in front of our house, and she said,
"I think I'll go home."
"Huh? What's wrong?" I was confused, but she left with one last word.
"Sorry, I can't."
She ghosted me after that, and after a while, she suddenly said she wanted to break up. She never told me the reason, and in the end, we went separate ways. I was heartbroken after I broke up with my first girlfriend, and I was having trouble trusting women, so I didn't consider dating again for a while. But after meeting Fiona and seeing her kindness, I was able to forget about Haley. Reflecting back, Haley lacked consideration compared to Fiona, and I think I made the right decision to break up with her. A year and a half passed since we started dating, and I finally proposed to Fiona. I studied hard after Haley broke up with me, and thanks to my hard work after becoming part of my dad's company, I was getting a stable income earlier than I expected. When we were just starting to get ready for our wedding, my dad fell ill all of a sudden, and he had to go through an emergency surgery. Fortunately, he made it through, but because of his disease in the brain, he was forced to live in a wheelchair. He had to retire at the young age of 60, and he decided to let me take over after his early retirement. With these things happening, our wedding was postponed, and we decided to have our wedding when my work was less hectic. When I apologized for having to postpone our wedding despite already starting to get ready for it, Fiona warmly encouraged me without even making a face.
It's fine. There are more fun things to look forward to in the future now.
I wanted to get used to my job early and hold a wedding for Fiona as soon as possible, so I worked even harder. I was finally getting used to my job, so we resumed our preparation for our wedding, and we were visiting the venue every week to have a meeting. When we were about to leave after the meeting, as usual, a woman suddenly called me from behind. When I turned back, I saw Haley there. Haley asked,
"Oh, Miles, long time no see. What are you doing here?"
I said as I flustered, "I'm getting ready for my wedding." Then,
"Wedding? Oh, don't tell me you're getting married. You had money to hold a wedding, although you live in such a worn-out house,"
she said. So I went silent, not understanding what she meant. Then she continued,
"My to-be husband works at a large corporation, so I'm planning to hold a huge wedding. Would you like to come? Of course, your girlfriend is invited too. Maybe you'll be sad about your small wedding, though,"
she said as she laughed. She made us upset, so we ignored her and went home. but I really received an invitation to her wedding a few days later. I realized something on the invitation, so I decided to participate with Fiona. On the day of Haley's wedding, we welcomed the groom and the bride with a round of applause, and the wedding started. When we were enjoying the fancy meal, the groom and the bride came around the tables and lit the candle. Then Haley said,
Oh, you guys really came? I'm sorry I made you pay gift money when you're so poor.
Then the groom started panicking. Hey, why are you being so rude? Haley replied,
He's my ex, Miles. I'll let you know why I broke up with him. You didn't deserve me when you lived in such a worn-out house.
Fiona asked,
Worn-out house?
and Haley answered, I'm talking about his parents' house. When I tilted my head in confusion, Fiona said,
Oh, isn't she talking about Jack's house?
Haley asked.
Jack?
So I showed her my lock screen, and I showed her my dog. Are you talking about the dog's house? He's my dog, Jack. We have 3 houses, and the one in the front is the one we built for our dog. Haley exclaimed,
You have 3 houses? I dated you because you looked rich, but I broke up with you because you lived in a worn-out house. Were you actually rich?
At that moment, her husband said, Who do you think he is? He's the CEO of the company I work for. I'm the one who invited him, he yelled in a loud voice. Then Haley said in disbelief,
CEO? Oh, he's still so young. You have to be kidding.
So I showed her my business card. When she got to know that I was really a CEO,
If I knew this would happen, I would have never broken up with you. Hey, can we get back together?
she said. I firmly refused, and at the same time her husband said, The wedding is canceled. I'm breaking up with you. He got furious and he left the venue. The wedding got canceled and the gift money was returned to everyone. After that, Haley and her parents went to apologize to her boyfriend, and his family pleaded not to cancel their engagement, but her boyfriend and his parents were furious, so they refused to even let them in. And in the end, they got a divorce. Of course, Haley had to pay for all the wedding expenses, and she had to go into debt. The groom who worked at my company apologized for his ex's rude behavior at the wedding and asked to resign. But he had a good reputation as an employee and was trusted by many. So when I told him that I wanted him to continue working for our company, he thanked me with tears in his eyes. In the case of Haley, because she was in so much debt despite being young, men didn't dare to approach her, and she was getting older without any chances of marriage. She was starting to panic, and because she wanted to pay back her debts as soon as possible, she started gambling, and she ended up being more in debt. As a result, her friends and family distanced themselves from her, and she was forced to live an isolated life. Realizing that I once planned to marry her, I was really glad from the bottom of my heart that I broke up with her back then. Fiona and I got married shortly after that, and our life as a married couple began. She moved into my house, which was one of the houses in my parents' land. Fiona supported me, who was busy with work, and she was the perfect wife who was positive and who I could spend a fun time with. I was thankful every day that I got to marry someone like her. She gave birth to 2 children, and as more joined our family, our life became more lively. For my lovely family, and to protect the company my dad trusted me with, I will try my best and promised myself not to slack off. By the way, my dad got used to living in a wheelchair, and he lives a happy life with his grandchildren. I hope from the bottom of my heart that these happy days will continue forever.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.